Welcome to PA Election HQ and our coverage of the 2024 presidential election as incumbent President Joe Biden attempts to secure a second term against former President Donald Trump in this rematch of the 2020 election. Months of campaigning will come to an end as the first polls in this high-stakes race will come to a close in the next hour. We'll keep you updated on the race to 270 as election night in America unfolds. We are now approaching our first poll closings of the night in 6 races, including the state of Georgia. We're now flying over the Georgia Capitol building as the state will be critical in determining the outcome of this election. Joe Biden flipped it for the Democratic Party in 2020, and Donald Trump must win it back if he wants to have any chance at taking back his old job. It is now 7 p.m. here on the East Coast, and polls will be closing momentarily in the states of Georgia, Indiana, Kentucky, South Carolina, Vermont, and Virginia, totaling 60 electoral votes at stake. In Indiana, this is the first projection of the night, home of former Vice President Mike Pence. Donald Trump is the projected winner of its 11 electoral votes. He will also be victorious in the state of Kentucky, winning its 8 electoral votes. And finally, in Vermont, Joe Biden, the projected winner, winning the state's 3 electoral votes. Meanwhile, in the state of Georgia, this is our first major projection of the night. Donald Trump is the projected winner in the key race in Georgia, 16 electoral votes going to the former president, winning the state by a 0.2% margin. Donald Trump is the projected winner in Georgia. In South Carolina, Trump is victorious once again, winning its 9 electoral votes, securing the state of South Carolina. The map shows Trump with a commanding 13-point lead over the incumbent president. Non-electoral votes will be going into the Trump column. And the major victory for Biden at this hour will be in Virginia, 13 electoral votes. The state did vote to elect a Republican governor in 2021, but on the presidential level, it retains its blue status. And looking at the electoral map after our first poll closings of the night, Donald Trump leads with 44 electoral votes to Joe Biden's 16. Donald Trump has taken an early lead in the Electoral College, but we still have many other states left as we approach our 7:30 p.m. poll closings with major races in Ohio and North Carolina. We're now awaiting results from the states of North Carolina, Ohio, and West Virginia as polls are now closing in these 3 states at 7:30 here on the East Coast. In West Virginia, Donald Trump is the projected winner, winning its 4 electoral votes. Republicans will also be picking up the Senate seat from the state tonight, and on the presidential level, of course, Donald Trump the projected winner. In North Carolina, the Tar Heel state will once again vote for Trump for a 3rd time in a row. Joe Biden came within 1% of flipping the state in 2020. The results are similar this time around as well, but Donald Trump will hold on to the state of North Carolina for another 4 years. And in Ohio, Donald Trump first flipped the state in 2016, and he has held on to it ever since. Tonight, Donald Trump wins Ohio by nearly a double-digit margin against the incumbent president. And so after these poll closings, Donald Trump has expanded his lead to 81 electoral votes, while Joe Biden trails with just 16. The map is slowly starting to fill up with more and more red as the night progresses. Donald Trump has taken on an impressive 65 electoral vote lead as we head into our 8 p.m. poll closings, which will be crucial in determining the tone for the rest of the night. With 171 electoral votes at stake, polls are now closing in the states of Alabama, Connecticut, Delaware, the District of Columbia, Florida, Illinois, Maine, Maryland, Massachusetts, Mississippi, Missouri, New Hampshire, New Jersey, Oklahoma, Pennsylvania, Rhode Island, and Tennessee. In Alabama, Donald Trump is the projected winner, winning its 9 electoral votes. He will also capture Missouri and its 10 electoral votes. Trump is also victorious in Oklahoma, winning its 7 electoral votes, and he will take 11 electoral votes from the state of Tennessee. Meanwhile, Joe Biden will win the state of Connecticut and its 7 electoral votes, as well as 3 electoral votes from his home state of Delaware, in which he served as a senator from for over 36 years. In the District of Columbia, Joe Biden is of course the projected winner. The district has never voted Republican in any presidential election. Biden will also win the state of Illinois, 19 additional electoral votes, as well as the 1st congressional district of Maine, giving him a singular electoral vote. In the state of Maryland, Joe Biden once again the projected winner, this time 10 electoral votes. He will also win in Massachusetts, winning its 11 electoral votes. And in New Jersey, additional 14 electoral votes will be going to Joe Biden. Joe Biden, the projected winner in New Jersey. And finally, in the state of Rhode Island, 4 more electoral votes will be placed into the Biden column. Meanwhile, in Florida, 30 electoral votes will go to Donald Trump. This is a major projection. Donald Trump, the winner of the Sunshine State for the 3rd time. Trump has expanded his margin yet again, this time winning nearly 52% of the vote in the 3rd most populous state in the country. Joe Biden is the projected winner in Maine, 2 electoral votes from the at-large vote in the state. Joe Biden will win 53.7% of the vote in the state of Maine as a whole, while in the 2nd congressional district, Donald Trump is the projected winner, winning its 1 electoral vote. Donald Trump winning the 2nd district for a 3rd time, just like in the state of Florida, Donald Trump winning 53.6% this time around to Joe Biden's 45.1%, expanding his 2020 margin. In New Hampshire, Joe Biden, the projected winner. New Hampshire has been solid for Democrats in recent elections, especially after the re-election of Maggie Hassan in 2022 to the Senate. And so Joe Biden, with 53.7% of the vote, will win the Granite State for a 2nd time. And finally, in Pennsylvania, 19 electoral votes. This is the big one, a huge victory for Joe Biden. Pennsylvania helped Joe Biden get across 270 electoral votes in the previous election, and it may do so again this time in 2024. A 0.5% margin of victory for Joe Biden. This is Biden's birth state, and he will win once again the state of Pennsylvania and its 19 critical electoral votes. And so now, looking back at the map, Joe Biden has improved slightly. He is now up at 113 electoral votes, although still slightly trailing former President Trump, who continues to lead now with 155 electoral votes. Following the largest poll closing of the night, we now have the smallest poll closing here at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Polls will be closing now in the state of Arkansas with 6 electoral votes at stake. Arkansas has historically been a solid state for the Republicans, and 2024 will not change that, as Donald Trump will win the state and its 6 electoral votes, giving him a slight boost to now 161 electoral votes. In light of Donald Trump holding on to his lead, Joe Biden must perform well in the remaining states if he wants to retain the presidency. And polls in most of the states that are left will be closing momentarily at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, with 163 electoral votes at stake. Polls are now closing in the states of Arizona, Colorado, Iowa, Kansas, Louisiana, Michigan, Minnesota, Nebraska, New Mexico, New York, North Dakota, South Dakota, Texas, Wisconsin, and Wyoming. In Kansas, 6 electoral votes, Donald Trump is the projected winner. He's going to win the state by a solid margin once again. He will also carry Louisiana and its 8 electoral votes, as well as Nebraska winning its at-large vote, as well as its 1st and 3rd districts, combining for a total of 4 electoral votes. In North Dakota, as well as South Dakota, Donald Trump, the projected winner, each 3 electoral votes apiece. And he is also going to win the state of Wyoming with its 3 electoral votes. and the only safe victory for Joe Biden at this hour is going to be in the Empire State. New York will go to Joe Biden, giving him 28 additional electoral votes. The first key race at this hour, we can project in Arizona, Donald Trump, the projected winner, winning its 11 electoral votes with 49.4% of the tally. Joe Biden flipped the state in 2020, but in 2024, he is going to lose it back to Donald Trump. In Colorado, though, Joe Biden is the projected winner, maintaining his victory here from 2020. 10 electoral votes will go to the incumbent president. He will win the state by an 11-point margin. In Iowa, 6 electoral votes will go to Donald Trump. Trump first flipped this state back in 2016, similar to his victory in Ohio. Iowa voted for Barack Obama in the 2 previous elections, but as of right now, the state of Iowa is solidly within the Trump column. In Michigan, this is a major projection we have to make for Joe Biden, 15 electoral votes. The state was critical in helping Biden get to 270 in the previous election, and it may do so here once again. Joe Biden will win the state of Michigan by almost 2 points, 15 crucial electoral votes going into the Biden tally. In Minnesota, an additional 10 electoral votes will go to Joe Biden. The state has the longest Democratic voting streak going back 50 years. Minnesota was the only state Ronald Reagan did not win in his landslide 1984 victory, and Minnesota will hold true to its electoral history as Joe Biden wins the state with 53% of the vote. In the 2nd Congressional District of Nebraska, 1 electoral vote will go to Joe Biden. Joe Biden will once again carry just the 2nd district. That is the district at the very east end of the state. And with 51%, Joe Biden the projected winner in Nebraska's 2nd district. New Mexico will give an additional 5 electoral votes to Joe Biden. The president is the winner in New Mexico, the only state with a Hispanic majority. Joe Biden wins in New Mexico by a 7-point margin. Texas will go to Donald Trump, 40 electoral votes, the 2nd most populous state in the country. The state of Texas will vote red, a state that Democrats have not won since Jimmy Carter in 1976. Joe Biden will lose out on Texas despite the state's overall shift towards the left. And finally, in Wisconsin, our last projection at this hour, Joe Biden, the projected winner, winning its 10 electoral votes. Hillary Clinton lost the state in 2016, Biden won it back in 2020, and he will win it once again in 2024 with just under half of the votes. Joe Biden at 49.8% will win Wisconsin. And so this will put Donald Trump at 245 electoral votes, just 25 away from winning back the presidency of the United States, while Joe Biden also increases his tally to 192. With most of the state's results already been reported, we are heading into the 10 p.m. poll closings with a solid picture of the election. It is going to go down to the wire, and at this hour we have a major race in Nevada that may determine the outcome of the election early. With 16 electoral votes at stake, polls are closing in the states of Montana, Nevada, and Utah. In Montana, Donald Trump is the projected winner, and he is also going to win the state of Utah, where Mitt Romney is retiring from the Senate, giving him 6 electoral votes. Trump is also the winner in Nevada, the silver state, voting red for the first time since 2004. Trump will win Nevada and its 6 electoral votes. A margin of just 1,400 separate him and the president. Joe Biden will lose out on Nevada with just a 1,400 vote deficit. Donald Trump will carry the state and its 6 electoral votes, pushing him up to 261 total. Joe Biden has never taken the lead throughout the race tonight, and Donald Trump is now just 9 away from securing the presidency. Every electoral vote will count, as there are only 6 states remaining to call in the 2024 election. Trump has just flipped Nevada, boosting his campaign, but he must continue strong if he wants to defeat the incumbent, and with 191 electoral votes, Joe Biden needs to perform well in these next few states. It's 8 p.m. here on the West Coast, 11 in the East, and polls are closing in the states of California, Idaho, Oregon, and Washington. In California, Joe Biden is the projected winner, winning its 54 electoral votes, the Golden State, and the largest state in the union. He will also win Oregon, 8 electoral votes for the president, and the president will also carry Washington and its 12 electoral votes, while the state of Idaho will go to Donald Trump, 4 electoral votes for the former president. And the candidates are now more neck and neck than ever. Joe Biden has taken the lead for the first time tonight, now with 266 electoral votes to Trump's 265. We're now just a minute away from midnight, and both candidates are still just separated by 1 electoral vote as we enter into our final 2 poll closings in Hawaii and Alaska. The hour has struck as polls are now closing in the state of Hawaii at 12 a.m. Eastern Time. And of course, in the state, Joe Biden is the projected winner, winning its 4 electoral votes. And of course, this does mean that Joe Biden has finally reached the 270 electoral votes needed to win, and we can now make the projection that Joe Biden will win the 2024 presidential election. After a tumultuous election cycle and 5 hours of results being reported, we can now finally make the projection that Joe Biden will be reelected 46th President of the United States. Biden is currently speaking at the White House to supporters in Washington, D.C., but at this hour we can make the projection that Joe Biden has been reelected to a second 4-year term in office, defeating former President Donald Trump. It is unclear as to whether or not he will receive a call from his opponent, but none has been given at this hour. Biden currently speaking here at the White House after his re-election victory. Despite Joe Biden winning the election, we do still have 1 final poll closing in the state of Alaska. Trump is likely to win, but it is not going to make a difference in the outcome of the race. Polls are now closed in Alaska, and of course the state will vote for Donald Trump. 3 electoral votes at stake. Donald Trump the winner in the state of Alaska, winning 52.5% of the vote to Joe Biden's 43.9%, and this means the final tally will be 270-268, making this the closest election in American history, even closer than the election of 2000, and so by the very narrowest margin possible, Joe Biden has been reelected to a second 4-year term as President of the United States.